Welcome back to the smartest year ever, our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalist. My name is Gordy, and all this week we are covering the new 7 wonders of the world, one each day. And today we're talking the Colosseum. What kind of empire builds a stadium where tigers explode through trapdoors and ships battle on floodwater and 50,000 people cheer through rose-scented mist? Like and subscribe right now if you haven't so you can keep up every single day. I do this every single day. The Colosseum, also called the Flavian Amphitheater, was finished in 80 CE under Emperor Titus. It was Rome's ultimate power flex, a monument of stone and concrete seating up to 50,000 roaring fans packed shoulder to shoulder in a bowl of blood and dust. If you're like me, it's a little bit of a I don't know why. I imagine Julius Caesar being around for the Colosseum. I don't know why in my head. Maybe it's because I'm an idiot. but Caesar died in like 44 CE, right? And so he never did. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a fun fact or it's only interesting to me. But anyway, this wasn't just a sports stadium. It was a propaganda machine. Admission was free. Snacks, free. Entertainment, also free. Just, if admission and snacks were. But it wasn't free if you were the one being fed to the lions. The emperors used it to win public favor, distract from political failures, and remind everyone that Rome held total control over life and death. That guy who insulted the emperor last week? Wow, that guy that's dressed up like a mythological figure and about to be executed on stage certainly looks a lot like the guy that was talking crap about the emperor. And then, live in front of a cheering crowd, they would burn him or something. But one overlooked aspect was everything happening underneath, So beneath the arena floor was the hypogeum. Hypogeum, if you want to go with a harder G sound. But it was a sprawling 2-level maze of tunnels, trapdoors, and 80 vertical shafts. It was dark, hot, loud. I bet it smelled disgusting. It was this pressure cooker of slaves, animals, and doomed men waiting in total darkness for their moment. Crews worked in near silence, coordinating elaborate surprise entrances that would explode into the arena above. Like you might be a prisoner just like standing in the dark and then suddenly rising up into the sunlight, like face to face with a bear or like a chariot and just like 50,000 screaming Romans around you. It wasn't pure chaos, it was controlled chaos. Like what looked like divine magic to the crowd was an industrial machine of terror and timing operated by hundreds of stagehands, carpenters, animal wranglers, and executioners that were just out of sight. In some ways, the real spectacle really wasn't what the crowd saw, it was what they didn't see. Like what a finely tuned psychopathic machine. So picture this, the arena looks empty, and then all of a sudden the floor splits and a rhinoceros rises from below, like just enraged, straight into battle. Like no CGI, there's no safety rails, just like absolute raw panic and adrenaline. Some of the elevators were even so complex that they weren't replicated again until the 1800s. Wow. And this is pretty incredible as well. At one point, they even staged naval battles. In the early days before the hypogeum was built, the Colosseum could be flooded. Roman engineers rerouted aqueducts and used advanced drainage systems to turn the arena floor into a temporary lake. And these weren't just like symbolic, like splashing around either. These were like full-scale naumachiae is what they were called. These mock sea battles with real ships and real blood. What showmanship, huh? What showmanship. It's like you can really distract a populace from your own failures if you put on a good show, which should be a lesson for us today too, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, of just realizing that entertainment can often be used to obfuscate political failures. But anyway, some scholars believe that the inaugural games under Emperor Titus included one of these water battles, as recorded by ancient sources like Suetonius and Cassius Dio. Prisoners would be forced to play the roles of enemy navies fighting to the death in front of a live audience. Wooden warships crashed and sank, men drowned, the arena drained, reset, and rolled into the next act. Like, just imagine you were there. That would be, like, people don't say that a lot as a time travel answer, like to see one of those, but because it would be horrendous in some ways, especially with our modern sensibilities, to see someone like just murdered in front of you. It sounds awful. But what a freaking spectacle. I just try to imagine myself being there, So the Colosseum floods, the ships appear, the fake sea war unfolds for you and the 50,000 people with you, and you're just like cheering from your marble seats, like waving your little like, go Navy, watching a miniature war in a man-made lake. Just insane. And as for the gladiators, not all of them were slaves. Some were ex-soldiers or fame seekers hoping for riches and status, but for prisoners of war, criminals, or enslaved people, the career of being a career gladiator was pretty short and brutal, like a modern day running back in the NFL. You're not going to get that second contract. But that said, most matches didn't end in death, actually. Gladiators were pretty expensive to train and maintain, like a quarterback. No, but many bouts were just exhibitions. But when death was the goal, it got super theatrical. Romans loved drama. Who doesn't love drama? Some executions reenacted myths, as I mentioned up top. Like a condemned man might play Icarus, like launched from a platform with wings strapped on, like set afire midair, or like play Hercules getting torn apart by lions. And the crowd just went nuts. I was just like, oh, God. Roman poet Martial, he once described lions refusing to eat Christians until they were starved for days. So, hey, we'll see how long those lions don't eat them. And to mask the smell of blood, the Colosseum had scent machines, perfumed mists of rose water, like drifted through the Valerium, those massive awnings that stretched over the crowd. So you're watching a public execution with like breathing in like floral scents. Like it was just like Universal Studios for sociopaths. Though most loved the violent events at the Colosseum, because I was wondering, like, did everyone just like this? It was like, can you just train your brain to be like, that's normal? And I'm sure you can, right? So most people did. They just really loved the events at the Colosseum. But some weren't huge fans. Not all of them were huge fans. Seneca, he called them degrading. Cicero, I actually fell asleep last night listening to a Cicero book about how to win an argument, and I listened to the whole thing overnight, and I had really weird dreams. That was last night. Not even kidding. Sorry. But anyway, Cicero, he found them tasteless, and even Emperor Marcus Aurelius, he reportedly wasn't thrilled by them. He was kind of bored, and he disapproved of them, but he wanted to show up anyway for the political benefits of showing his face and being in that arena. And the games lasted for nearly 400 years, but by the 6th century, they had faded. Earthquakes hit. Earthquakes is a very common end or something that pushes these wonders to the end pretty much across the board that I've noticed. So earthquakes hit, stones were scavenged, and eventually medieval Romans turned the building into a fortress. Still, though, the Colosseum stood, and today it's more than a ruin. It's a symbol of power, ingenuity, of how deeply weird humans can get when you mix death, performance, and a crowd. Like what a case study on ego and just the brains and mob mentality. It's just really fascinating, really fascinating. So there you have it, the Roman Colosseum, where thousands died, crowds cheered, and elevators once lifted tigers through trapdoors. It was a theater of blood built on spectacle and control. Let me know if you've been there. I haven't been there. Personally, I really want to. My fear is that it's super crowded these days by people like me trying to, see stuff. So I'm not acting like I'm above that by any means. I would be contributing in the exact same way, but I just feel like it'd be super crowded. And but I'd love to see it. I've never been to Rome. I'd really like to go to Rome. I love history. Have you been? Do you recommend it? Was it cool? Should I check it out? Just, let me know what you think about all this. Would you go to a gladiator event? Would that freak you out? Do you think you could get used to it? Do you think you could numb your soul a little bit? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't, I'd really appreciate that very much. So thank you for being here today. Go check out my 1-minute version at Smartest Year Ever, everywhere on social media for that 1-minute version. And in the meantime, stay curious and stay clever on our quest to become the world's greatest conversationalists. I will see you tomorrow in the Smartest Year Ever. We got one more Wonders Week one coming up, so stay tuned. Do you know what it is, by the way? What could it be? What could it be? You'll find out tomorrow.